Are you ready for the heavyweight championship of the world? Are you ready?
Hey, welcome to And in This Corner, bringing you another episode of Unanimous Decision. And today, who we talking to, bro?
Hey, 2023, this is our first one. You heard what he said, Unanimous Decision, and today we got a good one. This guy is a phenomenon. He is a writer, a producer. He has written and produced for some of your favorites, 112, Silk, Destiny's Child, and one of our own, Detroit song, Beth. Today we have Marcus Devine.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble!
All right, welcome to the show. Marcus, you ready to step into this ring?
Let's go, baby. I'm good.
Let's do it.
All right, how you doing today, Marcus?
I'm incredible, man. Incredible. Yourself?
I'm doing well. I'm blessed. 2023, I'm blessed. Still here, so can't complain.
Yes,
Can't complain. First off, we're gonna thank you for hopping on our platform. We truly appreciate it.
Definitely.
Your name is stitched all over music. So we're just glad that you're able to grace our platform with everything that you have, your knowledge, your wisdom, your musical ability, everything. So first off, just thank you so much for hopping on our platform.
I'm honored to be here, bro.
Appreciate
All right. All right, so let's jump on the first question. Obviously you've been in the music game for a little minute, and you have talent. But at what point in your life did you know that you had something going on, some kind of music ability, some kind of music talent going on in you?
It was early, really early. My mama actually taught me how to play bass. You know what I mean? When I was younger, so she taught me my first few songs on bass. She was in a group, and the bass player would show her stuff, and whatever he showed her, she showed me. And a lot of times I only wanted two things for Christmas every year up until the age of probably 15, and that was a basketball, and a guitar. Like every year, that I didn't care about all the other stuff that I got. So it was early that I knew that I was musically, in tune. But it wasn't until I was about 13 that I was like, okay, my thought process is a little different than the people that I'm around in the music game. I started writing songs with my mother at 13 years old. So, you know what I mean? So that's when I really knew. And I thought I was going to be a basketball player, bro. Like, I thought that was going to be my thing. I used to play in the snow. I used to shovel the snow outside just to hoop. You know what I mean? So I'm like, I was going to do it. And what changed my mind was girls. I'm just being 100% honest. I was in school. Girls, I saw that girls like the singers. I did a talent show at school and saw that the girls went crazy. And I quit my varsity basketball team in the 11th grade year to just go straight music, which is the best decision I ever made in my life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But so, yeah, it was early, man. It was early.
Yeah, you're one of the few people where quitting actually worked out for you. So, hey, so I want to bring up something as well. Like, so you mentioned strong influence from your mom. It does feel like you had a lot of. I want to talk about some church roots as well. When I look at your credits, I see Deitrick Haddon. So, what was the experience like starting off with Deitrick?
I tell everybody, Deitrick was still one of my top all-time gigs that I've ever been on. Because we were so innovative at the time that we came out, wasn't nobody using drum machines in church, playing talk box on Sunday morning, like, you know what I mean? So it was we were really innovative with the sound. So Deitrick is a phenomenon. He's a superstar, and to be like my brother and we there every day, every Sunday in the trenches, you know what I mean? I'm learning from him. He learning from me. It was incredible. His brother, our best friends, Gerald. And so we constantly, as they say, iron sharpens iron.
Yeah.
We were sharp. There's a whole bunch of iron around there. You know what I mean? So,
now this is so I'm gonna, like Barry stated, I'm hearing you guys came. It came based out the church. Your music. Who are some of your musical influences? Gospel, I guess, coming up.
Okay. Well, the crazy thing is, I'm a quartet baby. I'm a quartet gospel baby. So, and I always say, if you do quartet, you can do anything.
Okay.
And the reason I say that is, if you check out a quartet group, they'll take an R&B song and change it to a gospel song quick. Like, you know what I mean? So even though I was in quartet, I got a chance to have that vibe of everything, R&B, the whole nine. But that grit, or that edginess to my music, that I feel like that's that quartet thing. Even when I do a worship song, there's going to always be a slight bit of edginess to it. You know what I mean? So my influence in gospel, definitely John P. Key. That's one of my favorites. That's one of my top.
I knew Bill was gonna smile on that one.
Because he's hood. Like, I don't care nobody, he can sing Jesus is real all day. But John is hood though. Like, you know what I mean? So it's that R&B. And I mean, there's no male group or whatever that doesn't have a commission influence. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Like, so the Winans, commission, and to be from the same place and these are my friends. Like, so I get to see them in real time be who they are. You know what I mean? So those are my influences. I always tell everybody, my heroes are my friends. You know, so as far as gospel, and I don't know if you hit the Paul Porter from the Christian Airs.
No.
That's a gospel group. Okay. He's who made me actually want to sing.
Okay.
And, you know, but it's quartet. But yeah, those are my gospel influences.
I know, I don't know that, but I remember my dad playing, like, you know, the Jackson Southerners and, you know, the Williams brothers, Frank Williams and the Mississippi Mass Choir. That was me. And then my favorite all time is Reverend James Moore. That's my favorite of all time.
You just gave me chills. No lie. I literally just got goosebumps on my arm because I worked with James for like 2 years. We toured together.
What?
Like, yeah, on a play. I don't know if you ever heard of a play called Why Good Girls Like Bad Boys. And James was on the play. He bought me a bottle of Aqua di Gio. I still have that bottle of Aqua di Gio right now to this day. And that had to be probably 20-some years ago.
Yeah. He's like, yeah,
it's been a minute. And what's funny, and not to get off subject, but a week and a half before he passed, he was here in Detroit doing a play. And he had stopped going to dialysis. And he fell out on stage. And I ran up on the stage, me and my friend, picked him up and took him in the back. And when I tell you I went in on him, once I found out he stopped taking dialysis, he was tired at that point. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And I think a week or so later, he passed,
man. We lost a good one. We definitely lost a good one in that.
Oh, man.
Yeah, he was my favorite of all time.
And for great reason, too.
So Marcus, when you mentioned your influences, and you also used the word edginess, so I want to focus on that. At the time, you know, like a lot of what you guys were experimenting with, it would kind of like spark a revolution. So did you think the audience for gospel would grow to the level that it is today, where a lot of the stuff that you guys were working on, it's like, that's the foundation of, like, you know, because it's kind of become pop. Like, it's like using R&B, inspired by R&B, fused in with hip hop. Did you ever think that was actually going to be the norm?
No, because we wasn't doing it to create nothing. It was just, we did what felt good to us. Like, we were, and I tell everybody, I went to church, but I wasn't considered a church boy. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I would be the dude that go to church with a hangover. Like, you know what I'm trying to say? Like, just being honest. Like, I would club. So the new Bad Boy record, I know it like the back of my hand. Yep. I just so happen to go to church all the time.
Go to church, yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? So we would take stuff from Bad Boy and we doing it in church. The Benjamins, we playing it in church. And people
take hits from the 80s to make it sound so crazy.
Crazy, yeah, like, you know what I mean? And then give it to the Lord so he can praise me like no other
way. All right, so in church, ask for your forgiveness.
And you actually answered my kind of next question, because I was going to say most times we see folks start off with gospel, they tend to stay within that box. But obviously, you said you were part of gospel music, but you're not necessarily considered a church kid. So you pivot from gospel to R&B. In '97, you link up with the Detroit Natives on Mariah Carey's label, 7 Miles. What was that experience like?
Actually, it was great, man. To me, that was a great time to actually be creative in music. First of all, the money was a whole lot better for people like me at that time. Like, you know what I mean? I used to tell people, we're special because everybody couldn't do. There was not a studio in every basement or every house. You know what I mean? So we were
studio time. They had to pay for studio time.
We had to pay for studio time. And I tell people, they have it easy because to record 3 songs, it costs $65 for a 2-inch reel of tape. And you only can get 15 minutes off a 2-inch reel of tape. And so imagine that, $65. And that's just if you ain't got to do more than one version.
Yeah, you better not mess up.
You better not mess up. Yeah. You know what I mean? So at that time, music was great. And those were like my nephew, my little cousins, we call each other cousins, So I was actually on tour when I ended up working with them. I was already on a tour and they were in New York at the same time. I was in New York for like 2 weeks for the show. And they were there and they was like, yo, we need some songs. And the first song I wrote on there was a song called Without You on the intro song. I wrote that in my sleep. I literally was asleep and hadn't got literally the whole song and woke my roommate up like, yo, wake up. And he's the one who played keyboard on it. I'm like, wake up. And I wrote that song in the middle of the night. Man. Called them to my hotel the next day and taught it to them in my hotel. And I ended up recording that. And a lot of people don't know the lead single, Do Your Thing, on that record, I produced the vocals on that song. A lot of people don't know that. I didn't even take no credit for it.
What single was that?
Gotta let you do your thing. Do your thing.
Oh, that's that charted. I think that's the only song that charted for them. Okay.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. And what's funny,
you didn't take no credit.
Because the guy who was actually producing the song got fed up with him and left out the room. Was like, you know what, y'all do it yourself. And I just so happened to be sitting there. As soon as he walked out, they all turned to me like, Marcus, would you do it? And I just went and set up and produced it. And it ended up being, like you say, a single that charted, But the experience was great, man.
So looking at R&B, we go fast forward just a little bit. We go to today, 2023, 2022, 2020s. It seems like to me a lot of the production in R&B is different from that certain era of music, especially New Jack Swing in the 2000s. It seems like a lot of R&B has the same kind of hard bass, trap type undertones to it. No matter if it's a supposedly ballad supposed ballad or whatever kind of song that it is today. And it's also our big voices aren't marketed. I mean, we have our Jasmines and we have our others, but our big voices, the Whitneys of the time or whoever, they're not marketed as much now. Is it? What do you think the reason to that is?
I might get in trouble for this. But
I don't want you to get in trouble. I don't want you to get in trouble.
One thing, if you follow me, you know I don't care about
that. Yeah, we definitely
saw that. I saw that.
We definitely know that.
I mentioned that to Bill. We saw that.
Listen, hey, that's one thing you'll never worry about me.
Okay.
I mean, you said you're not a church boy, so
I'm not worried about ever. The council culture does not live where I live. I'm not worried about it.
Yes, sir.
So, but what I think it's an agenda. I think that we, and this I don't mean to try to get deep, but trap is exactly what it is. A trap.
Yeah.
That's why we can't get out of it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? If you notice, all the music makes you feel sedated. For you know,
yeah.
There's no energy at all in it. There's nothing motivating about it. You know what I mean? And it's on purpose. That's why when you get in it, it makes you, I don't know, man. And you have to be careful. I put up a post, it was a while ago, like, and I put a post that said, I'm sick of all these damn tracks. Like, and that's what motivated it. The question you just asked is what motivated me to say that. It's like, where is the music? Because there is no music. It's the same chords over and over with a ton of reverb, with a dreary bass.
Yes. Yeah.
Everything makes you feel like it's gloomy outside.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think it comes from, I call it weed music. It's sedated, marijuana, drug-induced music.
I was listening to just, because I kind of prep every time when I listen to get ready for interviews, and I was listening to just running down my playlist or whatever, and I was listening to Doing Just Fine by Boyz II Men. And I'm like, man, what happened to the verse, the chorus, the verse, the chorus, the bridge? It's gone. It's totally gone. So, man, hopefully we can get back to that, man. Did you hear the snippet Tyrese put out?
Recently?
Of the song? Well, you ain't hear. They was on. I won't send it to you. He put out a snippet of this was like maybe a week or two weeks ago of a new song that he has, and
it's giving you
when I first heard it. No, he said everything. He was talking about it. He said everything is going to be live instruments, no playing around with it. But it I don't know. It when I heard it, it made me think about what is it? Just to be satisfied. Just to be satisfied. The Marvin Gaye To Keep You Satisfied. It kind of reminded me of that. But man, I want to send it to you, Marcus.
Okay.
He got it. I think he got one. He said he's gonna keep it. Him and Tank, they were on live together talking about it.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah.
It seems like we keep jumping back to like the 90s. Me and Bill consider that like one of the golden ages of R&B. So I actually I want to bring I want to bring up a group, an iconic group from the 90s era. So you end up working with Silk. It's safe to assume those sessions went great because you also produced for Gary on Other Side. So what was the studio session like with those guys?
Those are my brothers, man. And I mean, you'll probably hear me say that a million times because I don't really call them artists. Like they literally are my brothers. Little G is actually my son's godfather. Like, so we're close.
Wow.
Like that. When my son was christened, G flew in, wrote a song for him, sung it at the christening. Literally, as soon as he got through singing, he walked right out the door, jumped on the plane, and went back home. So we like that. Like, so we always have a ball when we together.
Yeah.
So.
All right, so try to keep the bias out of it because I got to ask you a question. Who do they match up well with in a versus battle?
They did it already, but I would have said 112. Like, you know what I mean? I would have said somebody like 112. But that's not even, I don't even know if that's a good, I don't know.
That's the thing. Like, and it's shout out to 112. I know you got you've done work with those guys as well, but with Silk, one of the groups that I love, like I'm always jamming to their albums. I kind of appreciate the way their melodies sound. I'm from South Florida, so although they got that Atlanta sound, it does remind me of like how the voices sound in the South. But I can't necessarily find a group that I feel like they match perfectly with
Silk.
Yeah,
because what I think one reason that is, anybody you would pick would tell you that Silk was their influence. Like 112 would be like, when we were in high school, we listened to Silk.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? So it's kind of hard. Silk had their reign when there was nobody else really in that.
They're your favorite group.
Yeah. I remember I was telling this to when we interviewed Mark Gay from Shy. I remember riding on we were going down here, we have something called grad night, and all the seniors, they in Florida, you have a night where you go to Disney World and they have concerts. So Shy was at our concert, was one of our artists, but on the way to Orlando, on the bus, the girls kept playing two songs, Knocking the Boots and Freak Me. All the way there and all the way back. Those are two songs they played. So I'm like, yeah. Silk definitely got some stuff on them.
Just Freak Me, my introduction to Freak Me was actually live. I was singing background for Aaliyah at the time. And Silk was on this show with us in Chicago. This is my first time ever hearing them and meeting G. So I'm standing out there, and all the first thing you heard was, Freak Me, baby. I said, what the hell is this? Like, when I tell you it filled the whole arena up.
Did it?
I tell G about that to this day. I'll be like, it filled the whole arena. Freak Me, baby.
Yeah.
It was incredible. So that was my introduction.
You know how much kids they responsible for a lot of whoopings in some adolescent households. Between a lot of their songs, not just that one. You get caught singing them lyrics, you in trouble.
Yes. Easy.
They had some. What about them in Blackstreet?
I think that'll work, actually.
Well, my money on Black. That's what you said. Try not to be biased. My money is on Blackstreet. Anything you bring up, like I would be a producer if it wasn't for Teddy Riley.
Let's talk
Teddy
about
Riley.
that.
I tell everybody, Marcus Devine is Teddy Riley mixed with Devontae.
Devontae Swing.
Ain't nobody like him.
Jesus Christ.
And that's my whole makeup. Sonically, everything, those are my two. Now, along the way, I've added a little Rodney Jerkins and people that I
can see that too.
But my basis of who made me want to do this thing, Teddy Riley.
He's so what? Okay, so since you said that, Barry, I'm gonna jump. I need to jump real quick.
No, go ahead.
I'm gonna jump to.
He brought up a couple of nuggets that
you brought
wasn't on my notes.
So. Your Mount Rushmore of producer writers, how you can mix them how you want to do it, right? Who would be your four?
Producers?
You could do producers, you could do writers, however, because I know you're multi-talented.
I'm about to say I can't mix the writers with the producers.
Okay, let's do producers.
I mean, there is no Mount Rushmore without Quincy Jones, number one.
Okay.
I don't care what you're talking about. You can talk about jazz. You can talk about any genre. There is no Mount Rushmore without him. Quincy Jones.
Okay.
Teddy Riley.
Okay.
I got to put Devontae. That's just me being biased.
Yep.
And my fourth, Rick James.
Ooh. We never got a Rick James, Barry.
We never got a Rick James, but I respect
that all the way.
Yeah. So
one of my favorite artists is Bobby Brown, and I feel like that whole sound, that whole thing that Bobby Brown sound was going with, the New Jack Swing, and also the Teddy Riley vibes. That's the godfather of that is Rick James. So
Rick James all day. All day.
I'm not mad at the list, man. I think I like the list.
I love
the only 4 up there. That's only because it's 4.
Yeah. You know? We made it difficult for you, but I like it.
Let's move over to writers. You're a writer too. You got a pen. Give me 4 writers.
Writers. Sean Daniels, rest his soul. Mm-hmm. Golly.
Lotto.
Yeah, so you done messed me up today. I'm gonna tell you, Brian McKnight, bro. Yeah, oh man.
I think he's probably I think he's probably my top 3 male R&B artists, I think.
Yeah. And not for me, not so much on the artist side, and that I don't want to even get off into that. The pen, though?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I feel like that's where he shines, too.
Undeniable.
And I think people don't realize he'll give a lot of people some work in the verses as well.
Yeah.
What?
He don't go around patting himself on the back. You're gonna have to look up his credits.
Yeah, but his songs will live forever. That's how I look at it.
They get played at every wedding.
Yeah.
They played every baby shower.
And the last 2 are old school guys, so I got 2 more to put up there. Smokey Robinson and Lionel Richie. They want to be my.
I said, me and Bill have been talking. I said Lionel Richie should go up against Stevie Wonder in the verses, and I think the only person that could take down.
You don't want to do that. You don't want to do that. And I only left Stevie off because he's that's automatic. Right?
Some people you just.
He is the mountain that they're on. That they're supposed to be on. Yeah. So I wouldn't even say him.
Where do you put Babyface at?
That's my favorite right there.
He's the mountain right next to you.
It's 6 in one hand, half a dozen.
He's the mountain that the producers are on.
Yeah.
Okay.
You follow what I mean?
I got you. Yeah.
Yeah. Man. He's all of that. Like everything.
Yeah. Swiss Army nice. Nice.
With a taste like that, it's an eclectic taste. I'm assuming, but let me not assume. I'm assuming you from Detroit. Like you from right?
Yeah.
All right, cool. All right, safe assumption then. So this summer, we're basically embarking on the 65th year anniversary for Motown, right? Mm-hmm. So that you with your Detroit roots, in your opinion, how important is Detroit's contribution to music?
This gonna sound. There is no music without Detroit.
Yeah.
And the thing is, Motown is the spark for everybody. Mm-hmm. When Motown actually hit the scene, everybody that was already doing music changed the way they did music, changed the whole sound of their music. If you talk to Paul McCartney, he's going to tell you that the Beatles were influenced by Motown. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And then to understand the whole story behind it, how it started, is so inspirational once you get into it, you know, to know that somebody borrowed $800 from their family, took a loan out from their family for $800 to create what we know now today as Motown, bro. That's, and right now today, that label, it may not be, to me, the top label, but they still working right now today. And they're in motion, you know. So Detroit is, I'm mad at Detroit. You know what I mean? Because we don't live up to what we, you know, the thing that was set forth. I think we live in the past and trying to recreate Motown. Mm-hmm. And instead of finding that niche and finding that new thing, you know. So
So we were able to interview a Detroit native, Beth, and I know you did some work with her. Just reading her accolades, not even her own her own stuff, just stuff that she's done and who she's worked with. What made you get involved with that project, her projects, and so forth? And what do you see from her?
Well, the way I got involved, she actually called me. Her husband told her, "You need to work with Marcus Devine." And she called. She'll tell you she was scared to call me. She's like, "He's not gonna work with me." Such and such and such. So she called. I'm like, okay. Because the way we actually met was in Vegas. I was out there working on another project, and they were on tour with Babyface, Charlie Wilson, and Kim. Because she seen background for Kim.
Yeah.
And I was trying to get some tickets, and I asked everybody on tour, "No, we don't have any." And I reached out to her. She said, "I got 2 for you." And we met in the food court of Mandalay Bay. Never met before. Wow. And she gave me the tickets to the concert. And then we talked. She's like, "I want to work with you." Something. I went home. She went home. And then her husband was like, "You need to work with him." And she reached out, and that's how we started working.
That's
nice.
And I see, man, she's grown so much, bro, from the first time we worked together. And working on this project, I only did 1 song on the first project. Okay. But then when she came, like, "I want you to executive produce my next project," I had a ball, man.
Yeah. What was your favorite song on that next project?
The one that's out now?
Yeah.
I got a few, but
yeah.
"Love Is in the Building" is definitely one of my favorite. The duet she did with Q Parker from 112.
Yes. That's one of the ones.
Ooh, I don't know if you know that one.
Of course, that's my favorite song on there. That's my favorite one. I was waiting for you.
And that song came about. We were ending the session, and her husband called. And while she called, I just started messing around on the keyboard. And she was like, wait, I love that. Stop. And told her husband, "I got to call you back." And we ended up writing the song. And that's how that song came about.
Dang, man. That's crazy.
So you mentioned, it looks like the story you just said, you basically, number one, you came up with a song in your sleep and it became an intro. Number two, you out here hearing ringtones on phones and just getting inspiration. What comes easy for you, it does seem like certain things you aren't taking credit for, like the "Do Your Thing" track. I want to mention the Destiny Fulfill album with Destiny's Child. So I know you're credited on one of the versions, which is the Japanese version, for that album, but not like how. So basically, as fans, we always hear horror stories on how important publishing is. It's probably a gray area behind the scenes. So how difficult is the process for getting your track on one of the versions for the Destiny's Child album? And then on top of that, how difficult is it to retain the actual writing credit?
Well, actually, it's on more versions than that too.
Yeah,
I don't know why
the international version. It's on the international version too. So they had the international version and the Japanese version.
Right. Yeah. So, that was a real dark period for me. Actually, the whole process of that song. I actually lost a couple of friends over that project because the business wasn't handled right, and me trusting, being my friends, that the business will be handled the right way. Because I did that with another company. I did the track. A company that I was associated with, I'm trying not to say their name. The company I was associated with put together a CD of like 20-something songs. I only had 2 on there, and all the rest of them was the other guys. And Beyonce only picked my 2, which was the Why You Acting track, and another track which I sampled, the Stevie Wonder Love's in Need sample. And she wrote, but the one Why You Acting is what made the project. Then the business just got real crazy, man. So we still fighting over that right now. That record came out, I think, in 2004, bro.
2004.
Wow.
Man, close to 20 years ago.
To this day, still fighting.
Just now getting and I'm cool because that once I get that lump sum, I'll be fine. So yeah, I'll be all right.
You'll be all right. All right, we're gonna come wind down to the end. If you have an opportunity, hey man, you know, we said it, man. We said it. If you had a chance to one artist, past or present, no matter who it is, you get to work with one artist, y'all go in the lab, come out a month, 2 months, 3 months later, come out with an album. Who would you choose and why? You could be a group to whoever.
Past or present.
Yeah, no, that's what makes it hard. The past and the present part is what makes it hard.
And we did that on purpose.
Okay.
I got one in the past and the present.
Yeah, okay, go ahead. Give me a pass. We'll do that. We'll
let you slide.
We'll slide.
All right. Johnny Hathaway. If he let me do what I want to do with him, like, and Brandy.
Okay.
And I don't care how arrogant this may sound. I think I'm what she needs.
Okay.
You know, you mentioned it earlier. You said you got traces of in your DNA.
Rodney.
You got
Rodney.
I see Rodney in there, so for sure that makes sense.
Yeah, but you wouldn't even see Rodney if I got in there with him. I wouldn't even try to recreate that.
Yeah.
A whole new thing for her.
Yeah.
Would it be more like how what Timbaland did with Aaliyah? Like something just new, nothing.
Yeah, because I think what happens is people get caught into this certain thing. Like, you understand, Brandy created a genre or a singing. Like, people be like, "Oh yeah, that's Brandy." It don't be her singing, but it's the style of somebody singing, and they go, "Oh, that's Brandy." Like, so that could be great, but at the same time, it doesn't allow her to grow if she stays in that same space. It don't become fresh. Mm-hmm. You know, the background go, they're gonna do all that all the time. I think she needs to find somebody who just let her be open and honest.
Okay.
So
we're gonna start a campaign.
I'm saying it sound like that's a preview. Like that's something down the pipeline.
Yeah, we're gonna start a campaign, man. Get that started.
Even the mixture of the people that you picked on your mountain, and even the artists that you chose to work with, past and present, you kind of have a unique ear when it comes to music. You've produced in 4 different decades. So I want to ask a question for producers out there. What's the biggest difference in producing music for today's artists?
For me, you said answer the question. Did you say what's difficult?
It's all on how you want to interpret it. What's the biggest difference in producing music for artists today? Now, it could be a difficult, or it could be a difficulty, or it could be an advantage.
Well, for me, it's no difference. When I say that is, I'm me. Like, I don't follow radio.
Mm-hmm.
Because what I learned a long time ago, if I'm listening to it on the radio, it's already old.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So for me, it's just being honest. One thing that'll never, ever, 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 ever lose is love.
Yep.
And I don't care what situation it is. I don't care how hard the thug is. He want to be loved by somebody. I don't care if it's just his mama.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I say all the time, there's something how a serial killer can kill tons of people, but have a fit if somebody hurt their son.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, everybody wants love. So for me, it's all the same. That's what I stand on. Love and being honest. Music will always win. It may not win for everybody. Some people may want to trap, but that's cool. But the masses want love and they want to feel. They want it to always feel good.
Mm-hmm.
They want it to feel. That's why I don't care who you are. 90s, even the trap music we talked about. Think about all the hits. There's a 90s sample under there somewhere.
Yep.
It is.
It
is. It is.
And the majority of it, that's driving the song.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm a product of the 90s. I was killing the game in the 90s. So for me, there is no difference. I'm gonna stick with what I know.
Yeah.
So. You're right. Absolutely correct. It is absolutely correct.
And me and Bill said the 90s is the golden era of R&B, and it sounds like you agree. You're a product of it. So yes, with that being said, anxious to hear some of your projects. What new projects do you have out now, and where can the audience find you?
Well, Beth, her album is called Get to Know Me. That's the latest whole project that I worked on. That's everywhere on all digital outlets. Like I said, it's called entitled Get to Know Me. Plus, Day 26 just re-released their EP that I produced on. I actually really got an executive. I put the whole EP together. But I produced the Silk remake on there called Lose Control. That's funny. That's funny. So that's really what's out right now. And I keep messing around with my new project. I keep starting it and stopping. I'm gonna go ahead and finish it. And put out me a new record. So
it's a marathon, not a race.
Yeah.
Hey, Marcus. Go ahead, Bill.
No. I was just gonna say, man. We're definitely gonna try to keep pushing Beth's album. It's R&B. It's R&B. If you love R&B, don't. We often say we want the old, we want this and we want that, and when people give it to us, we don't support. So if we're telling you guys that there's R&B out there, go get it, go listen to it, because it's there. And then you got people who are doing what we want. You're giving us the tracks, she's giving us the voice. So what's the problem? So don't say.
We're super grateful because the album debuted at #1. That's
sure did.
That was a beautiful thing to wake up and your project be #1. You know what I mean? So we're definitely happy about that.
And congratulations to you on that, and to her, man. You guys did a phenomenal job on that album.
Phenomenal.
Definitely appreciate that album.
You can follow me on Instagram at The Heat Miser. DAHEATMIZER.
Hey, Bill.
Yes, sir.
Hey, man, it's been a pleasure. I really enjoyed talking to Marcus.
Man, yes, sir.
Maybe there's some, maybe there's some other folks that we should interview as well. Mm-hmm. How will we get our suggestions, Bill?
You guys know what to do. Go to the comment section. We call that My 2 cents, and leave your 2 cents. If you have any questions for Marcus, if you have anything, if you want him to work with somebody, if you have an idea, drop your 2 cents in that comment section, and we'll make sure we get that to him, and he'll be looking out.
And and what's another way they could support Bill?
Hey, y'all know what to do. Like this video, comment, subscribe to the channel, and again, don't forget to share the content, because look, we got some good stuff out there for you. If Mr. Marcus Devine got some good music out there, just go research and go get it.
Hey, outside of that, that's all we got. Everybody say peace.
Peace.